Have you ever noticed how some people always seem to get what they want, even though they aren't the smartest, the richest, or the most talented? It's as if they're always several steps ahead, seeing moves you didn't even know existed. By the time you've caught up, they're already sitting at the top, calm, untouchable, and far beyond your reach. So what do they really know that others don't? The truth is, the difference between those who win and those who struggle has very little to do with luck, strength, or kindness. It comes down to one thing: understanding how power actually works. Most people believe success is a reward for goodness, effort, and patience. They play fair, hoping the world will notice. But while they wait to be recognized, the powerful play a different game entirely, one governed by invisible laws few ever study. Power doesn't start with muscles or money. It begins in the mind. The smartest individuals, the true strategists, realize that life operates by unseen principles, ancient and psychological. These are the unwritten laws that have shaped every empire, every kingdom, every social order since humanity began. The ones that separate the rulers from the ruled, the hunters from the hunted. Most people cling to morality. Geniuses master strategy. And I'm not telling you to be ruthless, only to be aware. Because if you don't understand these laws, someone else will use them on you, and you won't even see it happening. You'll blame fate, timing, or bad luck, when in truth, you simply didn't recognize the game being played. 5 centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli uncovered these patterns. He dissected the movements of power, the psychology of control, and the subtle ways influence is maintained. What he found was chilling. Power is never random. It follows patterns, laws, and strategies that remain the same in every generation. Today, we're breaking down 8 of the darkest laws geniuses use to outthink and outmaneuver everyone else. These aren't motivational ideas, they're the cold, strategic truths used by those who refuse to lose. Once you see them, you can't unsee them. Once you know them, the world will never look the same again. Watch carefully. Every second matters. Missing even one principle might mean the difference between staying stuck and finally gaining control over your life. Type this affirmation in the comments. I control my power. Let's begin. Law 1. Create value through absence. Let me ask you a question. Who do you admire more, the person who's always around, or the one who appears only when it matters most? The friend who never leaves your sight, or the one whose silence makes you wonder what they're up to? Here's a truth most people never realize until it's too late: constant presence kills respect. The more available you are, the less you're valued. The more you show up, the less you're noticed. When people can reach you anytime, your time loses meaning. Your energy becomes background noise, familiar, ordinary, forgettable. But the moment you step back, the balance shifts. When you create space, curiosity awakens. Suddenly, they start to notice your absence. They remember your worth only when it's no longer within reach. That's when your value multiplies, not because you changed, but because your presence became rare. This is how brilliant minds move. They understand that scarcity creates power. Being everywhere drains your influence. Being selective amplifies it. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about protecting your energy and understanding that value depends on rarity. Look at the individuals who command respect. They're not replying to every message instantly or showing up at every event. They're intentional with their presence. They know when to appear and when to disappear. Machiavelli once implied that one should be necessary, but never common. Distance strengthens presence. When you withdraw, people begin to crave your return. And when you finally re-enter their world, they pay closer attention than ever before. When you master this law, people stop treating you like an option. They stop assuming you'll always be there waiting. They start chasing your time instead of expecting it. Yet most people do the opposite. They overextend, they try too hard to stay relevant, and in doing so, they fade into the background. You don't gain influence by being everywhere. You gain it by being missed. So start valuing your absence as much as your presence. Pull back from those who take your energy for granted. Let them feel the silence. Let them realize what you bring to the table when you're gone. When you are scarce, you become significant. When you are everywhere, you become invisible. This isn't about coldness, it's about discipline. Protect your presence like a resource. Appear when it matters. Leave when it doesn't. Be the person people look forward to seeing, not the one they assume will always be available. The weak are constantly present. The powerful understand when to vanish. Master this law and watch how quickly people begin to respect your time, your boundaries, and your worth. Type this in the comments. My absence creates value. Law 2, make others come to you. Here's a truth most people don't want to face: the one who chases always loses. You've seen it before. Someone desperately wants recognition, approval, an opportunity, or a connection. So, they push harder, chase faster, and reach out again and again. But the harder they chase, the further it slips away. Meanwhile, someone else sits calmly, barely moving, and everything seems to fall right into their lap. Why? Because they understand something most people never do: power flows to the one who doesn't need. When you chase, you give away your control. You become the one who's trying to prove your value instead of embodying it. The moment you start convincing others that you're worthy, you've already handed them the upper hand. The strong never chase. They attract. They position themselves in such a way that others have no choice but to approach them. Because when you make others move toward you, you decide the terms. You decide the pace. You decide the outcome. Machiavelli once said that the person who adjusts to circumstance always prospers, and this law is exactly that. It's not arrogance, it's strategy. It's about creating gravity so powerful that opportunities, people, and resources naturally move toward you. Instead of knocking on doors, build something so compelling that the doors open for you. Instead of begging for attention, create value that demands it. Instead of chasing validation, become so excellent that people seek you out, not out of pity, but out of interest. Think about the times you've been pursued. How did it feel? Now think about when you were the one chasing. How powerless did that feel? The difference between those two moments is who held the leverage. Stop scattering your energy on people who don't reciprocate. Stop running after things that require you to beg for attention. That kind of energy screams desperation, and desperation is the death of power. Here's what true power looks like. You create something undeniable, a skill, a result, an aura, and then you wait. You let curiosity work in your favor. You become the prize, not the pursuer. Sometimes you'll need a little bait, something intriguing enough to draw others in. It might be your talent, your insight, or your results. But once the interest is hooked, don't chase, let them come to you. The weak run after everyone. The powerful sit still and draw the world toward them. You are not meant to beg. You are meant to choose. When people come to you, they follow your rhythm, not the other way around. You control your space, your attention, your energy. That's real authority, not because you're better, but because you've built something that speaks louder than words. When you stop chasing and start attracting, you shift from seeking validation to commanding it. That's when life starts moving in your favor. Type this in the comments. They come to me. Law 3, court attention at all costs. Let's be brutally honest. If people don't notice you, you don't exist. You can be the smartest, most skilled, or most prepared person in any room, but if nobody sees you, none of it matters. The truth is, attention is power. Without it, your talent stays invisible, your message unheard, your influence non-existent. We live in a world built on visibility. Those who remain unseen are forgotten, and those who stand out shape the narrative. Yet, most people fear being noticed. They keep their heads down, play it safe, and blend in, hoping their quiet effort will eventually speak for itself. But it never does. The world doesn't reward silence, it rewards presence. You can't be respected if no one remembers you. You can't be influential if no one's watching. Brilliant minds understand this. They know that attracting attention isn't vanity, it's survival. Because if people don't see you, you don't exist in their plans. Power belongs to those who stay visible, even in chaos. Machiavelli once observed that people judge more by what they see than by what they feel. That's why visibility matters. People remember the bold gesture, the striking moment, the act that made them stop and think. They forget the quiet achiever who waited politely in the shadows. But remember, this law isn't about being loud for the sake of noise. It's about being strategically unforgettable. Every move you make should command attention with purpose. You don't scream, you signal. You don't beg for the spotlight, you build it around your results. Look at those who've left a mark on history. None of them were invisible. They spoke, they acted, they took risks that made others turn and look. The bold are remembered. The timid are erased. So how do you attract attention without appearing desperate? By doing something that can't be ignored. By being exceptional at your craft. By speaking with confidence when others hesitate. By showing up in ways that reflect power, not neediness. Stop hiding behind humility when it's really fear. Stop telling yourself that patience will make the world notice you. It won't. The world only rewards what it can see. Be bold with your actions. Be unforgettable in your presence. Make your silence meaningful and your appearances impactful. Because in this world, invisibility is the fastest route to being forgotten. Power is attention, and attention must be earned. Step forward. Stand out. Let them see you, remember you, and talk about you long after you've left the room. Blend in and disappear. Stand out and rule the moment. Type this in the comments. I demand attention. Law 4, appeal to self-interest, never to mercy. Here's a truth that might sting. People rarely help out of kindness, they help out of benefit. It sounds harsh, but it's the reality of human nature. People don't move because they pity you, they move because it serves them. Every act of generosity, every alliance, every favor granted, behind it, there's always an exchange. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's recognition, sometimes it's influence. But there's always something in it for them. If you ignore this truth, you'll spend your life pleading for help that never comes. You'll appeal to hearts when you should appeal to motives. You'll beg for mercy when you should offer opportunity. Geniuses never make that mistake. They don't rely on sympathy, they rely on strategy. They know that the quickest way to get someone on your side is to make them believe that helping you benefits them. Machiavelli once advised rulers to satisfy people's interests rather than their sense of virtue, because self-interest is dependable, but mercy is fleeting. People's emotions change. Their interests endure. So when you need something, time, support, opportunity, don't play the victim. Don't tell people how much you've suffered. Instead, speak their language. Here's how this helps you. Show them what they gain by saying yes. Maybe it saves them time. Maybe it makes them look capable. Maybe it gives them access to something they didn't have before. Whatever it is, make it visible. Frame your request so that it sounds like a smart move, not an act of charity. Because here's the truth, when people help out of guilt, they resent you for it later. But when they help out of self-interest, they feel clever for doing so. One makes them avoid you, the other makes them want to stay connected. Stop asking for kindness, start offering value. Every request should be a transaction of benefit, not emotion. When you start showing people what's in it for them, everything changes. You'll notice that doors open faster, conversations shift in your favor, and people who once ignored you start seeking your partnership. This isn't manipulation, it's alignment. It's understanding what drives people and using that knowledge to create outcomes that serve both sides. From now on, when you want something, don't ask for mercy. Ask with mutual advantage in mind. Because people don't act for compassion, they act for gain. And when you can give them that, you'll never have to beg again. Type this in the comments. I offer value first. Law 5, keep others dependent on you. Here's a question that separates those in control from those being controlled. Who needs you more than you need them? If your answer is no one, then you have no real power. Because power doesn't come from independence alone, it comes from being irreplaceable. The moment people realize they can live without you, you lose leverage. But when their progress depends on you, your skill, your insight, your presence, you control the dynamic. Most people make the fatal mistake of depending on everyone around them for approval, opportunity, direction, or security. Then they wonder why they always feel disposable. Powerful individuals flip that equation. They build lives that make others rely on them instead. Machiavelli once said the strongest fortress is not made of stone but of loyalty, the kind that comes when people need you to survive, succeed, or stay safe. When people depend on you, they protect you. They follow your lead. Not because they fear you, but because they can't afford to lose you. Think about who truly holds power in your life right now. It's the people you depend on, isn't it? The ones with knowledge, authority, or influence you can't easily replace. Now turn that around. Who depends on you? Who can't function smoothly without your involvement? Who would struggle if you disappeared tomorrow? If that list is short, you're vulnerable. To change that, you must become essential. Develop expertise others can't easily copy. Build systems that run because of your insight. Offer something so precise, so valuable, that without you, things start to fall apart. Being valuable is good. Being necessary is power. And remember, dependency isn't about manipulation, it's about leverage through usefulness. When you make yourself vital to someone's success, they'll invest in keeping you close. They'll support you because your loss would cost them more than your presence ever could. Stop being average at everything. Stop trying to do 100 things just well enough to blend in. Instead, master something, one field, one craft, one ability that makes you stand out as the go-to person. When people realize they need you, you no longer have to prove your worth, it's obvious. They'll protect you, respect you, and prioritize you because their success depends on your stability. That's how you build real security, not through luck, but through strategic dependence. So ask yourself, what do you bring that no one else can? What would collapse if you suddenly stepped away? If you can't answer that confidently yet, start building the answer today. Because once others depend on you more than you depend on them, you'll never have to fight for position again. Type this in the comments. I am essential. Law 6. Win through actions, never through argument. Here's a truth most people never grasp: arguing exposes weakness. Every time you try to convince someone, you're admitting that your proof isn't strong enough to stand on its own. Arguments rely on words, results rely on evidence. And in the world of power, words are cheap, but results are absolute. The moment you start defending yourself, you're already giving away authority. Powerful individuals don't waste their breath debating or explaining. They don't beg people to see their vision, they show it. They let outcomes speak where words would only create noise. Think about it. When was the last time an argument actually changed someone's mind? Most of the time, it doesn't. Arguments aren't about truth, they're about ego. Two people trying to prove who's smarter, louder, or more right. It's a trap that drains energy and destroys credibility. Machiavelli hinted that promises mean little without power behind them, and the same goes for words. What you say matters less than what you demonstrate. When you argue, you're defending. When you act, you're proving. And proof silences everything. The most intelligent minds don't bother trying to persuade. They focus on creating undeniable results. Because once results appear, no explanation is required. Doubt disappears. Critics go silent. The outcome becomes its own argument, one nobody can dispute. Here's what the great strategists do. They stop trying to win through logic and start winning through execution. They stop defending their potential and start producing outcomes that remove every question. If someone doubts you, don't waste energy trying to convince them. Let your progress expose their disbelief. If someone mocks your goals, don't respond. Let your success embarrass their arrogance. People forget debates, but they never forget results. No one remembers who made the best point, they remember who won. So don't argue, act. Don't explain, show. Don't seek agreement, create evidence. Because when your work speaks for you, silence becomes your greatest weapon. Let others argue while you build. Let them talk while you rise. Because in the end, victory ends every discussion. Type this in the comments. My actions speak louder. Law 7. Speak less, influence more. Every word you speak gives people a glimpse into your mind. And the more they see, the easier it becomes for them to read you, or worse, use you. Most people talk endlessly, explaining every thought, every emotion, every plan. And in doing so, they hand their power away piece by piece. The truth? When you talk too much, you make yourself predictable. When you stay quiet, you become mysterious, and mystery is power. Silence is not emptiness. It's control. When you speak less, others fill in the blanks. They start imagining what you're thinking, assuming you know more than you actually do. That quiet confidence draws respect faster than any speech ever could. Niccolò Machiavelli once said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few know what you truly are." People who constantly explain themselves seem insecure, desperate to prove something. Those who speak little appear confident, composed, as if they don't need validation, because they already know their worth. Here's the game. Every time you open your mouth, you give away a clue. Your plans, your limits, your emotions. And the moment people can predict you, they can control you. Powerful minds speak with purpose. They choose words like weapons, carefully, precisely. They observe while others ramble. They don't overshare, they don't justify, and they never reveal their entire hand. Remember, words reveal. Silence protects. So talk less. Share less. Explain less. When someone asks you a question, give them just what's necessary, not everything. When someone challenges you, respond calmly, not defensively. And when you're building something big, don't announce it. Just finish it and let your results do the talking. The more you speak, the easier it is for others to read your script. The less you speak, the harder it becomes for anyone to predict your next move. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. And those who master it command attention without even trying. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks volumes. Law 8. Keep your intentions hidden. The moment people know what you're planning, they hold power over you. When others can predict your next move, they can stop it, or worse, use it against you. That's why the smartest minds don't announce their goals. They move in silence and strike when no one expects it. Revealing your intentions is like showing your cards in the middle of a poker game. It might feel honest, but it guarantees you'll lose. Power doesn't move loudly, it moves quietly, deliberately, unseen. True strategists don't hide because they're deceitful. They hide because exposure kills momentum. Every plan you reveal becomes a target. Every dream you share too soon invites interference. Machiavelli once said, "Never try to win by force what can be won through strategy." The ones who rise fastest aren't always the strongest. They're the ones nobody saw coming. When people think they understand your plan, they prepare for it. They block you, copy you, or twist your ideas into theirs. But when your mind stays hidden, you move freely, untouched, unstoppable. You don't owe the world your blueprint. You owe yourself results. So keep your true intentions close. When someone asks what you're working on, give them the surface version, not the full truth. When people try to read your moves, let them guess wrong. Let them assume they know, while you're already 3 steps ahead. Plan in silence. Execute in plain sight. By the time anyone realizes what's happening, you'll already have won. Because nobody can stop what they never saw coming. This isn't about lying. It's about protecting your direction. You don't need to announce your goals for them to be real. You just need to finish what others only talk about. Operate in shadows. Act with precision. And let your results make the noise. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My plans stay silent until they succeed. Now that you've seen the 8 hidden laws, you probably feel a little uncomfortable. And that's good. Because power isn't meant to feel gentle. It's meant to wake you up. Real power doesn't live in muscles or money. It lives in the mind. It's about how you think, how you move, how you understand people. Most folks wander through life playing fair. Believing good intentions are enough. But the world doesn't reward kindness. It rewards awareness. It rewards those who see the invisible strings, while everyone else is busy following them. Now you've seen those strings. You've learned the rules that most people never notice. The rules that separate the ones who command from the ones who obey. You can't unsee what you've learned. You can either pretend these laws don't exist and keep hoping fairness wins someday, or you can start playing wisely, with purpose, with precision. This isn't about manipulation. It's about protection. It's about walking through life, knowing how the game is played, so you never get played again. Apply these laws one by one. You don't need to master them all today. Start small. Use one law in your next decision, your next conversation, your next move, and watch how fast the world begins to respond differently. Because power isn't taken. It's built silently, consistently, strategically. If this opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to wake up too. And remember this: the world belongs to those who see it clearly and act intentionally. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I move with strategy, not emotion.